Long before the arrival of European settlers, the dense forest and vast plains of North America were alive with stories and legends passed down through generations among the native tribes. These tales often spoke of encounters and legends surrounding mysterious beings and cryptid creatures that roamed the wilderness, hidden from the eyes of ordinary men. Among these enigmatic entities were the little people, known by various names across different tribes, each with their own unique characteristics and lore. Today, we dive into several different fae-like little people that the Native Americans encountered long before colonization had put its influence into their cultures and traditions. Puckwudgies are small, human-like creatures that stand between 2 and 3 feet tall. Their appearance is often described as a mix between a troll and a dwarf, with some accounts even likening them to goblins. They have large, exaggerated features, including long ears, big noses, and fingers. Their skin is typically depicted as gray and smooth, though in some stories it's described as having porcupine-like texture on their backs. This unique combination of traits gives them a somewhat grotesque yet fascinating appearance. Puckwudgies are known for their mischievous and sometimes malevolent nature. They possess a wide variety of supernatural abilities that make them both intriguing and dangerous. One of their most notable powers is the ability to appear and disappear at will, making them both elusive and difficult to track. They also can shapeshift, with the most common transformation being into a creature that looks like a porcupine from the back and a half-troll, half-human from the front. In addition to their shape-shifting abilities, Puckwudgies are said to have control over fire and can create small magical flames. They are also known to use poison arrows and can launch these projectiles with deadly accuracy. Another fearsome ability attributed to them is their power to lure people to their deaths, often by making them walk off cliffs or into the most dangerous of situations. They can also cast spells to make people forget things or even become disoriented in the wilderness. In pre-colonial times, Puckwudgies had a complex relationship with Native American tribes, particularly the Wampanoag people of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Initially, they were considered friendly and helpful, often assisting humans with various tasks. However, over time, their relationship with humans soured, leading to a more antagonistic dynamic. According to Wampanoag folklore, Puckwudgies became jealous of the affection and reverence that the natives had for Mashop, a giant and cultural hero. This jealousy led them to cause mischief and harm to the people. Mashop eventually exiled the Puckwudgies to different parts of North America, but they continued to harbor resentment towards humans. They are known to kidnap people, push them off cliffs, and even attack them with short knives and spears. They also use sand to blind their victims and can create magical balls of light to lure people deeper into the woods. Despite their malevolent tendencies, however, Puckwudgies are not always harmful. Some stories even suggest that if treated with respect and kindness, they can be benevolent and even helpful. However, if slighted or disrespected in any way, they soon become vengeful and dangerous. One of the most well-documented modern encounters with a Puckwudgie occurred in the Freetown Fall River State Forest in Massachusetts, an area known for its high number of paranormal sightings and strange occurrences. In 2008, a local resident named Bill Russo reported a chilling encounter with a creature he believed to be a Puckwudgie. Russo was walking his dog late at night when he heard a strange, high-pitched voice calling out to him from the woods. The voice repeatedly said, "Iwachu," which Russo interpreted as "we want you." Intrigued and slightly unnerved, he followed the sound and soon came face to face with a small humanoid figure standing under a streetlight. The creature, he said, was about 3 foot tall, with gray skin, large eyes, and a porcupine-like back. It stared at him intently, and Russo soon felt an overwhelming sense of dread. Despite his fear, Russo managed to keep his composure and slowly backed away, returning home with his dog. He later recounted the experience to friends and a local paranormal investigator, who confirmed that his description matched that of a Puckwudgie. This encounter added to the growing number of sightings and stories about these enigmatic creatures from this region. The Puckwudgie remains one of the most fascinating and mysterious cryptids in North American folklore. With their unique physical characteristics, supernatural abilities, and complex relationship with humans, they continue to capture the imagination of those who hear their stories. Whether viewed as mischievous tricksters or dangerous adversaries, Puckwudgies are an enduring part of the rich tapestry of Native American mythology. The Yunwi-Junsti, often referred to as the Little People, are a fascinating and enigmatic part of Cherokee mythology. These beings are described as small, child-sized people, typically standing no more than 2 feet tall, yet they possess delicate, almost ethereal features, with large, expressive eyes that seem to hold ancient wisdom. Their skin is often depicted as fair, though in some stories they're described as also having a slight glow, which only adds to their mystical aura. They are usually dressed in traditional Cherokee attire, which includes woven garments and even moccasins, though their clothing can vary depending on which tale you're hearing. Now, on a side note, you'll often hear non-native peoples refer to them simply as Yunwi. However, this is actually a misnomer, and when they say this, they're simply saying the non-objective form of the word people. The Yunwi-Junsti are known for their dual nature, embodying both benevolence and mischief. They are generally kind-hearted and helpful, especially to those who show respect and kindness towards them and towards the natural world. However, they can be quite vengeful if disrespected or wronged in any way. And their primary role in the Cherokee folklore is that of protectors of the forest and of guardians of nature. One of their most notable abilities is the power of invisibility. They can choose to reveal themselves to humans, but they often remain unseen, instead watching over the land and all of its inhabitants. This ability allows them to move freely and observe without being detected. They are also known to possess other magical powers, which they use to aid or even punish humans. These powers include the ability to heal, to create illusions within our minds, and to even manipulate the natural elements. Yunwi-Junsti are also skilled in the art of shapeshifting. They can transform into various animals such as birds or deer to blend into their surroundings or even to escape danger. This ability further enhances their roles as protectors of the forest, allowing them to interact with the natural world in unique ways. In pre-colonial times, the Yunwi-Junsti had a significant presence in the daily lives of the Cherokee people. They were revered and respected, and often considered as spiritual guides and protectors. The Cherokee believed that the little people could bring good fortune and blessings to those who honored them and who honored the environment. They would leave small offerings such as food or trinkets at the entrances of caves or other places believed to be inhabited by the Yunhui Junsti. However, the relationship between humans and the Yunhui Junsti was not always harmonious. If a person disrespected the little people or caused harm to the environment, they could incur their wrath. The Yunhui Junsti were known to play tricks on those who offended them, such as leading them astray in the forest or causing them to become lost. And in more severe cases, they could even inflict illness or other misfortunes upon the offender. One well-known tale from Cherokee folklore involves a young hunter named Atsadi. Atsadi was known for his skill and bravery, often venturing deep into the forest to hunt game. One day, while tracking a deer, he stumbled upon a clearing he had never seen before. In the center of the clearing was a small, intricately woven basket filled with berries. Atsadi, feeling hungry and curious, decided to take the basket and eat the berries. As soon as he had finished the last berry, he felt a strange sensation wash over him. The forest around him seemed to shift and change, and he realized he was no longer alone. Standing before him were several Yunhui Junsti, their expressions a mix of anger and disappointment. They told Atsadi that the basket of berries was an offering left for them by a nearby village, and by taking it, he had shown them a great disrespect. Fearing their wrath, Atsadi apologized profusely and offered to make amends. The Yunhui Junsti, seeing his genuine remorse, decided to give him a chance to prove his sincerity. They tasked him with finding a rare medicinal herb that grew deep within the forest, an herb that could heal the sick and wounded. Atsadi accepted the challenge, and with the guidance of the Yunhui Junsti, embarked on a perilous journey to find the herb. After many days of searching, Atsadi finally found the herb and brought it back to the Yunhui Junsti. Impressed by his determination and respect for them, they forgave him and even taught him the secrets of the forest, making him a wiser and even more skilled hunter. From that day on, Atsadi always left offerings for the Yunhui Junsti and shared their knowledge with his own people. In recent years, there have been several reports of encounters with the Yunhui Junsti, particularly in the Appalachian region. One such encounter occurred in 2015 when a hiker named Emily was exploring the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Emily had always been fascinated by Native American folklore and was well aware of the legends surrounding the little people. One afternoon, while hiking along a remote trail, Emily noticed a small shimmering light darting through the trees. Curious, she followed the light and soon found herself in a secluded glade. In the center of the glade was a small stone circle, and within it, she saw several tiny figures dancing and singing. They were the Yunhui Junsti. They were celebrating under the dappled sunlight. Emily watched in awe, careful not to disturb them. However, after a few moments, one of the little people noticed her and approached. It raised a small carved stone above its head towards her, and then in an instant, it vanished with the stone falling to the ground. She picked up the gift and left feeling both a sense of awe and fear. Emily said that holding the stone gave her a deep sense of connection to the land and to its ancient guardians. She continues to carry the stone with her on all of her hikes as a form of honoring the bond she made with the Yunhui Junsti. To this day, the Yunhui Junsti remain an integral part of Cherokee folklore, embodying the delicate balance between humanity and nature. Their stories serve as a reminder of the importance of respect, humility, and harmony within the natural world. The Nain Rouge, also known as the Red Dwarf, is a legendary creature deeply embedded in the folklore of the Detroit, Michigan area. Descriptions of the Nain Rouge vary, but it is generally depicted as a small, childlike figure, standing about 2 to 3 feet tall. Its skin is often described as dark red or even black, and it is covered in coarse fur. The creature's most striking features, however, are its blazing red eyes, which are said to glow with a malevolent light. It has a grinning mouth, filled with sharp pointed teeth, which only adds to its fearsome appearance. The Nain Rouge is known for its mischievous and malevolent nature. It's often considered a harbinger of doom, appearing before disasters or significant misfortunes. This reputation has earned it the nickname, the Demon of the Strait. The Nain Rouge is believed to delight in causing chaos and suffering, and its presence is rarely taken as a good omen. One of the creature's most notable abilities is its power to appear and disappear at will. This makes it incredibly elusive and difficult to track. It is also said to have the ability to manipulate its size, sometimes appearing larger or smaller depending on the situation. The Nain Rouge can also create illusions, making it difficult for those who encounter it to discern what is reality and what are simply its tricks. The Nain Rouge has a long history of interactions with humans, particularly the Native American tribes in the Detroit area before European colonization. According to legend, the creature was both feared and respected by the indigenous people. They believed that the Nain Rouge had the power to influence the outcome of battles and other significant events. In fact, it is even said that the creature would appear before major conflicts, and its presence was often seen as a sign of impending doom for the tribe's enemies. One of the most famous stories involving the Nain Rouge and Native Americans is the tale of the Battle of Bloody Run. On July 30, 1763, during the Pontiac's Rebellion, a coalition of Native American tribes led by Chief Pontiac attacked a British force near what is now Detroit. According to legend, the Nain Rouge appeared on the eve of the battle, dancing among corpses and reveling in the bloodshed. The river was said to have run red with the blood for days after the battle, as a grim testament to the creature's malevolent influence upon the conflict. One of the earliest recorded encounters with the Nain Rouge involves the founder of Detroit, Antoine de la Motte Cadillac. According to legend, Cadillac was warned by a fortune teller to appease the Nain Rouge to ensure the prosperity of his new settlement. However, Cadillac was dismissive of the warning and encountered the creature one night while walking through the streets of Detroit. The Nain Rouge appeared to him, grinning wickedly. Instead of showing respect, Cadillac struck the creature with his cane and shouted, "Get away from me, you red imp." This act of defiance is said to have cursed Cadillac and the city of Detroit itself. Following this encounter, Cadillac's fortunes took a turn for the worse. He was reassigned as governor of Louisiana and eventually returned to France. The Nain Rouge's curse, however, was believed to have brought misfortune not only to Cadillac, but also the city he founded. In more recent times, the Nain Rouge has continued to make appearances, often before significant disasters or periods of turmoil and unrest in the city of Detroit. One notable modern encounter occurred in 1967, just before the infamous Detroit riots. Two utility workers reported seeing a small, red creature with glowing eyes near the site of a future power outage. The creature disappeared before they could get a closer look, but the sighting was enough to unsettle them. Another encounter took place in 1976, just before a severe ice storm struck the city. A group of residents claimed to have seen the Nain Rouge darting through the streets, its eyes glowing red and ominously in the darkness. The storm that followed caused widespread damage and power outages, further cementing the creature's reputation as a harbinger of disaster. However, despite its fearsome reputation, the Nain Rouge has also become a significant part of Detroit's cultural identity. Each spring the city holds the Marche du Nain Rouge, a parade where residents dress up in costumes and symbolically chase the Nain Rouge throughout the city. This event is part celebration and part exorcism, and reflects the city's complex relationship with its legendary demon. While the Nain Rouge is feared for its malevolent influence, it is also embraced as a symbol of Detroit's resilience and spirit. The Teihiihan, often referred to as the Little Cannibals, are a fearsome race of small, human-like creatures found in the folklore of various Native American tribes, but particularly the Arapaho and the Cheyenne. These beings are typically described as being between 3 and 4 feet tall, with muscular builds that belie their small stature. Their skin is often depicted as dark and reddish colored, and they have sharp, pointed teeth, which add to their menacing appearance. Their eyes are said to glow with a fierce, predatory light, and their hair is usually long and unkempt. The Teihiihan are known for their incredible strength and speed, which far exceeds that of an average human. Despite their small size, they are formidable warriors, capable of overpowering much larger opponents. They are also known for their cunning and strategic thinking, often using guerrilla tactics to ambush their enemies. Their agility and stealth make them near impossible to detect until it's too late. One of the most terrifying aspects of the Teihiihan is their cannibalistic nature. They are said to hunt and consume human flesh, which has earned them a fearsome reputation among the tribes of the Great Plains. This cannibalistic behavior is not just for sustenance, but also seems to be part of their ritualistic practices, possibly to gain the strength and spirit of their victims. In addition to their physical prowess, the Teihiihan are believed to possess supernatural abilities. They can move silently through the forest, blending into their surroundings with ease, and some legends suggest that they have the power to control the weather, summoning storms to aid them in battle or to cover their tracks while they escape. They are also said to have a form of night vision, which allows them to see perfectly clear in the dark. During pre-colonial times, the Teihiihan had a complex and often hostile relationship with the Native American tribes of the Great Plains. They were both feared and respected, and many tribes took great care to avoid their territories. The Teihiihan were known to raid villages, stealing food, supplies, and even people. These raids were often brutal, leaving few survivors to tell the tale. But despite their fearsome reputation, there are also stories of the Teihiihan interacting with humans in more neutral or even positive ways. Some legends tell of individuals who managed to earn the respect of the Teihiihan through acts of bravery or cunning. These individuals were sometimes granted protection or even assistance in times of need. However, such alliances are rare and often fraught with tension. One of the most well-known stories involving the Teihiihan comes from the Arapaho tribe. According to this legend, a young warrior named Mato was out hunting when he stumbled upon a group of Teihiihan feasting on the remains of a deer. Realizing the danger he was in, Mato tried to sneak away, but he was quickly spotted by the sharp-eyed Teihiihan. Instead of attacking him outright, the leader of the Teihiihan, a particularly large and fierce individual named Kangi, challenged Mato to a test of strength and cunning. If Mato could defeat Kangi in a series of challenges, he would be allowed to leave unharmed, and if he failed, he would become their next meal. The first challenge was a test of strength. Kangi and Mato each had to lift a massive boulder and carry it up a steep hill, and despite his smaller size, Mato managed to match Kangi's strength, carrying the boulder to the top of the hill without faltering. The second challenge was a test of speed. They had to race through the dense forest, navigating treacherous terrain and avoiding hidden traps. And once again, Mato's agility and endurance allowed him to keep pace with Kangi. The final challenge was a test of cunning. Kangi and Mato were each given a small piece of flint and tasked with starting a fire using only the materials they could find in the forest. Mato, having grown up learning the ways of the wilderness, quickly gathered dry leaves and twigs, striking the flint to create a spark. Kangi, despite his strength and speed, struggled to get his fire lit, and impressed by Mato's skills and determination, Kangi declared him the winner and allowed him to leave unharmed. Mato returned to his village with the tales of his encounter, earning the great respect from his people, and from that day on, the Teihiihan left Mato's village in peace, recognizing the bravery and cunning of their young warrior. In recent years, there have been several reports of encounters with the Teihiihan, particularly in the remote areas of the Great Plains. One such encounter occurred in 2012, when a group of hikers in the Bighorn Mountains of Wyoming reported seeing small, human-like figures darting through the trees. According to their account, the figures were incredibly fast and seemed to vanish into thin air whenever they tried to get a closer look. One of the hikers, a man named David, described the experience in detail. He and his friends were setting up camp for the night when they heard strange noises coming from the forest. At first they thought it was just the wind, but the sounds grew louder and more distinct, resembling whispers and even laughter. Curious and a bit unnerved, they decided to investigate. As they ventured deeper into the forest, they caught glimpses of small, shadowy figures moving between the trees. The figures were too quick to get a clear look at, but David described them as being about 3 foot tall, with dark, hairy bodies and glowing eyes. The hikers tried to follow the figures, but they always seemed just out of reach. Eventually, the group decided to return to their campsite, feeling increasingly uneasy about their pursuit of the creatures. That night, they heard more strange noises, including what sounded like footsteps and low growls. In the morning, they woke to find their campsite had been ransacked. Food and supplies were scattered about. Although they never saw the figures again, the experience left a lasting impression on David and his friends, who remained convinced that they had encountered the legendary Teihiihan. The Teihiihan continue to be a fascinating and terrifying part of Native American folklore. With their formidable physical abilities, supernatural powers, and complex interactions with humans, they remain an enduring symbol of the mysteries and dangers of the natural world. And I just want to take a minute to say thank you to each and every one of you who have given me a like and subscribe. It's a genuine honor each and every time a new person subscribes to the channel, and you're the reason why I make this content. So if you haven't done so yet, go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, join the tribe, and let's find more weird and strange people just like you.